Check, check, check. On live for a second. See if I could bring my guest in. Like I said, we just playing with this live thing for a second, people. You gotta bear with me. Mm-hmm. Yo, trying to lock in, kid. Trying to lock in on this stream, y'all. See how this thing work. We'll see in a second. My guest pop up. It's all the testing for me real quick, though. Okay, he sent me that. Let me see if that'd be best. Email. Mm-hmm. See if I try that one. Tell my life story, how I was balling in the 90s. Oh wow. I ain't that old. 90s. I went to high school from 94 to 98. So my 90s was my 90s basketball days was mostly compiled of high school, freshman year through senior year. One of the top 8th graders going into 9th grade. Got better and better each year to where I was able to hold on. Coach saying you can't get on. Damn, let me see, son. You have up to 10 people instruct your guests. Q https StreamYard.com. No. What's going on? Okay. Oh, okay, coach. I see you. There you go, coach. I see you now. There you go.
What's going
What's
down?
up, coach?
Good, good. How you
Can you
doing?
hear me?
I hear you.
I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain. Good to see you.
Same here. Nice seeing you.
You too. You too. I appreciate you giving me some time to chop it up with me real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, that last interview we did a few years back, we didn't have I didn't have the proper technology in place to do it the right way. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just messed with this StreamYard a little bit. I said, let me see if I could do this better with Coach.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna just get right into it. I want to go ahead. I see we got a little delay too, so I don't know why that is, but I see the little
Yeah.
delay, so I'll wait to your response. But
Okay.
just wanted to give you your flowers first and foremost. Um, um, wanted to talk to you about, of course, the Boys and Girls Club. Wanted to
Right.
talk to you a little bit about the impact that you had on myself and other basketball players around. I've only got about 5 or 6 questions for you,
That
and then we
sounds
could
good.
just ad lib off of that. If that's cool.
All right.
All right. How did you get into coaching, and what motivated you to coach?
There was a guy named Julio Belazar that when I was a teenager, he ran the boys club gym. And one day, he saw I was a gym rat and he came to me and said, why don't you coach the younger group of 14-year-olds? And he would coach the older group of 16 and 18. And I was like, shoot, wow. And then he gave me the keys to the gym. I was a 17-year-old kid. And I was like, he must
Wow.
see something. Yeah. And I started coaching from there, you know. So for me,
Wow.
yeah, I started
Wow. That's
looking and
incredible.
reading. And I was always a student of the game. I always wanted to know the rules. I always wanted to know the proper way to shoot, the proper way to box out. I just didn't want somebody telling me because when I went to Hamilton, I went to Alexander Hamilton, and they used to have these cassettes, like 8-track cassettes that we could pop in our library, and you could watch the proper techniques on ball handling, shooting, boxing out, defense, and I was impressed by all of that. So and then I was the bench warmer on a coach, you know, and then I fell off the team, but I kept going. And he said, keep coming. And I would come, and Ray Haskins really showed the fundamentals of basketball. And
Mm.
so it just piqued my interest more. So when I started coaching, I implemented everything that I saw from Julio Belazar and Coach Ray Haskins. So those was my mentors.
Mm. Wow. Let me just check my internet connection a little bit. Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yep.
What was how good was Eric Barkley as a youth?
Oh man. Well, when a 6-year-old kid walks in the gym and says, "This is my dream. I want to play in the NBA." And I was, little kids talking. I was like, every little kid was going to say that. But he came up to me. And at the time, I was having practice with a group of 14-year-olds, Craig Chisholm, Gene Davis, Maurice McMichael, Jermaine Alamo, those guys, Isaac Smith, Jermaine Smith. So those guys, we was practicing. So I just said, hey, take the ball. What hand are you? He said, I'm right-handed. I said, take the ball and dribble around the court left-handed. Now, mind you, we had a 2-hour practice. I totally forgot about Eric dribbling around the court. At the end of that 2-hour practice, he was still dribbling around the court. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
And that made me start a program called the
Wow.
Baby Cobras, just because of Eric.
Wow.
At 6 years old, so that following year, I started a program, the Baby Cobras. And that was
Wow. That is
because,
crazy.
yeah,
So he kind of inspired the whole Baby
yeah,
Cobras.
yeah. It was because he's a little kid
Wow.
coming up to me and says, this is it. This is what I want to become. And then left to allow him to dribble around the court and he don't stop. And I was like, why didn't you stop? He said, you never said so. You never told me to stop. I was like, oh, I may have something here. And this is my thought process.
Wow.
I had a group
Wow.
of 14-year-olds. I used to have tryouts for 14-year-olds every year. And we would always finish in third because, yeah, whatever I'm teaching them was good, but it wasn't fully grasping because they was already high schoolers. They was already freshmen in high school. And yet they made their team for what I taught them,
Mhm.
but it just something grasped. And I came up with the idea since Eric was coming to the gym. I said, okay, let me start a Baby Cobras. And what I did was for 1 year, those kids did not play in no tournaments. We practiced for a whole year
Mm.
with Eric, John Reddick,
Wow.
Bob Johnson, Bob McRae, Big Shot Bob,
Wow.
Sharif Perez,
Wow.
yeah, Tyrone Mack, and Dennis Simmons.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and
Wow.
we practiced for a whole year. We got uniforms. We've been having a couple of scrimmage games, but for 1 year, we practiced and practiced till
Mm.
those guys got good. And then the next year, you guys came at the age of, I think it was 9
Mm.
or 10, 9 going on 10.
Mhm.
And y'all was,
Mhm.
and so we continued that. And I said, you know what? Starting them off young, now they able to grasp the full fundamentals of the game. And that's why to this day,
Absolutely.
your team is the most successful out of all the teams that came through the boys club.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I never knew all of that. I never knew the
yeah,
inception of the baby cobras.
yeah,
The fact that y'all took a year off just to practice and get better, and you
yeah,
honing your skills and
yep,
getting your stuff down packed. That's
yeah,
crazy. I mean, now that you say all that, I kind of look back and think about the fundamental part of it
yep,
that you showed us from the beginning, the mic and drill.
yeah,
That was something we was doing right hand, left hand layups before we started
yeah,
doing all of the craziness. So it's
yep,
just crazy how nowadays a lot of kids are receiving so much one-on-one training,
yeah,
personal development coaches, and all this one-on-one stuff, which is good for the game. But
right,
back then, it was a lot of training with by yourself on your own with other
yeah,
coaches. It wasn't so much heavily involved to just the one-on-one training so much like it is today.
yeah. No, it wasn't so much one-on-one training. What we did was, and then we had the coaches in place that we each knew our responsibilities. Like Coach Terry started you guys
Mm-hmm.
and gave you guys fundamentals because you guys didn't just play right away. Y'all played in that tournament, and that was the first time y'all played together as a group in the tournament. Y'all was the novice, and you guys went to the championship. And I can
Mm-hmm.
remember the game was at Bishop Ford. We lost, and you guys sat on the bench and cried,
Mm-hmm.
which showed me you cared. And I said, that's going to be that group because
Mm.
now, even though we were showing you, you guys would go out to the parks and practice on your own and then play 2-on-2, 3-on-3, a
Mm,
horse, and all type of other games. Also, then we started letting you scrimmage against the guys who was a year older. Remember, Jamal
mm-hmm.
Mayo and Andre Stanley was your guards. And if you think about this, how many guys on your team that started out with you wind up playing college basketball?
I know.
Think
I
about
know.
that.
That's that's crazy.
That's a hey,
Uh-huh.
Jamal Mayo, Division
Mm-hmm.
One, Andre Stanley, Division One, you Division One,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
Omar was behind you, and that helped
Yep.
Omar down to develop when he
Mm-hmm.
comes to the gym as a 6-year-old with all his intensity, and that helped. It just
Mm-hmm.
propelled. So now
Mm-hmm.
it was like big brother, little brothers. Now you could pass it on, and now when you move on to
Mm-hmm.
the next coach has his responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next coach, everybody had a
Yeah.
responsibility with the ultimate goal of, I truly believe that if we can teach the fundamentals of basketball, and this was all the coaches of the St. Anne's crew and the boys club crew, our philosophy, our philosophy was, if we can teach you guys the fundamentals of basketball and then allow you to be creative within yourselves, that can help you not only make your high school team, but also propel you into college.
Man, I mean, it not only did that, it instilled so much more. It instilled the fact that you had something that you was passionate about
Yeah,
that incorporated discipline. You know, we had to be
yeah,
on time. We couldn't be late
yeah.
for things.
We would leave
These
you
are all
behind.
life lesson skills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
I
leave left behind. We knew we had to see culture. What the hell are you doing? This big, this big guy talking to us. So that meant a lot. And I was kind of reflecting on stuff, and I was like, yo, that moment in time was only like 3 years of my life, but it was
yeah,
so pivotal. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
meant so much to so
yep,
many different kids. And it's crazy when
yeah.
you really think about the short moment in time. That's why I make sure today, when I'm engaging with kids and being a part of their life, I try to be positive in that moment because I know they ain't gonna
Right.
remember this to 10, 15 years from now. They're gonna be like, oh, Mr. Brown, maybe you did this.
Yeah,
Just the same way come up to
yeah.
you guys. Like it's amazing.
Hmm. And we got to remember when we doing now small drills, we tried to make the drills fun yet competitive at the same time. So those little things
That's
like that,
crazy.
like
And that's
yeah, those little
and my
things,
whole philosophy beyond basketball right now with basketball training is those same concepts.
yeah,
It's intensity, fun,
yep,
but you're gonna get after it. So it's funny
yeah,
you say that.
yeah. Remember, we lined you guys up against
Let,
the
let me
wall.
ask you this, coach.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this. And I know you may have your own particular GOAT, but who's your GOAT in basketball? Is it LeBron James or Jordan, or is it somebody
Well, I'm going to tell you this. There was a guy, he
outside of those
never
two?
played high school basketball, but he was the best player I ever seen in my life. His name was
Who was
Curtis
that? Say that
Peterson.
again. I missed it.
There's a guy from Fort
Mm,
Greene who never played high school basketball. His name was Curtis Peterson. We used to nickname him Sweet Pea. And the more weed he smoked,
mm.
the better he played. He could shoot. Yeah. You see Booker, right? You see Booker's handle. This guy had Booker's handle with the jump
Uh-huh.
shot. He was fast, he was quick, he was athletic. But He was allergic to school
Wow.
because every time you turn around, he was smoking weed.
Wow.
When we went to try out at Alexander Hamilton,
And where was he from?
he was from Fort Greene. I forgot what side he was.
Wow.
He's on Facebook with me. His name was Curtis
Wow.
Peterson. He was the best player I've ever seen in my life. And I truly believe,
Wow.
if he could have taken care of his marijuana addiction, he would have been a pro.
How tall was he?
Oh, he was Dennis Simmons' height. He was maybe 5'9", 5'10" the most. Wasn't tall, but could get at it, and would get at it with anybody. Like you said, we know how Booger handle is. One of the tightest handles out.
Mm-hmm.
His handle was as tight or better. Low to the ground.
He had
and
with
would
a jumper
explode.
and he's athletic too?
Athletic. Can get up. And deceptive. So, but the best player, I went to junior high school with the best player, a guy named Albert King, from the far side. They just fixed up the courts over there, beautiful courts. Al King, whose brother is Bernard King.
I seen that.
Al King was Player of the Year in high school in 1977. You know who was runner-up? Magic Johnson.
Who? Wow, that says a lot right there.
That's a lot.
That says a lot right there.
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy. So you saying that, how do you feel about the whole like Jordan playing in the LeBron era or this era, or this guy like Magic and the guys from the 80s that was dominating the 80s? Guys be making these comparisons about how these guys wouldn't do nothing in today's era due to the athleticism and his skills being so much better. What you say to that?
Well, let's start off with Magic, because he's my age. Magic was a 6'9" point guard, wasn't extremely athletic, but a 6'9" point guard. Nobody ever saw a 6'9" point guard. If you were 6'9" in high school, your coach put you in the paint. He was lucky enough to play for a coach who saw his potential all over the court. Remember, in high school, this guy jumped ball, played center, and played point guard. And that was,
that's crazy.
He could bring it up. He could score if he wanted to, but if he could make everybody around him better, that made the team better. And that was his perception. He was on somebody's podcast recently, and they said, how come you fell in love with passing? And he said when he was a little boy, he could score at will. And the parents and it was winning. But the parents used to always say, oh, that Magic Johnson scoring all the points. He's not passing the ball. And he thought to himself, he's a little boy, 8 or 9 years old. And he was always bigger than everybody, but that hurt his feelings. And he thought to himself that I can pass him the ball, and if they miss, I can get the rebound. I'm bigger than everybody else out here. And he said if he passed it to them twice and they missed twice, he took over. But, yeah. And that started him passing.
Wow.
That created a love of passing for him. Because before that, everybody saw a big kid. What did they do with big kids? Put him in the paint. He was the first big guy.
Great point.
Yeah. If you was big, you was going in the paint. Yeah. So he was the guy that created big guys now can step out. Al King was 6'6", small forward, and that's what he was throughout his career. But Magic Johnson was special. But for me, Al King, personally, somebody who went on to the next level, was that guy. And his older brother, Bernard. Fort Green's finest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely could respect that. So let me ask you this. Now that basketball's kind of, and this being my last question, basketball kind of been opened up for the whole world, even overseas play, you know, with the internet. Everyone could see basketball 24/7. They can learn different moves.
Right.
Is New York City still the mecca of basketball regarding producing elite guards?
When was the last time New York produced an elite guard? Look at this year's draft.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I know
think about it. When was the last time New York City produced an elite guard that was an All-American in college, became a pro, became All-City, became a All-Star? The last hope was Sebastian. Right now, everybody has the personal trainers. Everybody has a personal trainer now. You know, they don't that, and the Europeans are going to take over eventually. Think about this. A European kid, when they spot your talent at a young age, you go to an academy. You may go to a couple of hours of class, but your major focus is basketball. So you can get a player like Wemby. Look at Doncic, the Serbian kids. I mean, come on. When was the last time, not only elite guard, an elite player at any height, a forward, a center? We haven't had, and then most of the kids in New York, if they don't find instant fame, they go to a prep school. So their legacy as a New York player definitely has left. You know, we got a young man who is from New York.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think is going to be an extremely, extremely great player. We would never get a chance to see him. Deron Rippey Jr. He's in prep school, but he wouldn't. His father put him in prep school from day one. You know, he didn't go to high school, didn't go to.
Wow, you think he get more exposure through the?
Oh, for the college,
you get more exposure through the prep school. Or what's the thing? Oh,
if you, well, you know what? Now that the summer leagues that take over, you're getting exposure through summer leagues, the travel circuit. Carmelo Anthony's son, he wasn't on nobody's radar, and then he had an extremely great summer. And from the great summer he had, he became the #1 player in New York.
Wow.
But he left CK, which is an elite program in itself under Joe Apatello, and he went out to Long Island. Why? I have no idea. But that's where he went to make his name. But he really made his name on the summer circuit. And from that, he became the #1 player in New York State at this moment.
Do you think they didn't think that was achievable by staying at Christ the King?
Talent is talent. If you're nice, people will find you. Christ the King is an elite program.
Right.
Christ the King ain't no Division II cellar dweller. They are an elite program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was years that the girls and boys won city and state championships. And under the current head coach, he has elevated it to an even higher level. Yeah, they was always on the scene nationally. But Joe Apatello has elevated it even higher. So, yeah,
Wow.
if he had stayed, could he? Of course. But I don't know the sequences that caused him to leave. But he left
Yeah.
and made a bigger name for himself.
Wow.
But he didn't make the name at, I think it's Lehigh, Long Island, Lutheran, some school out in Long Island. But he made his name on the
Oh,
summer
yeah,
circuit.
yeah.
He really made his name on the summer circuit right now. Because he turned out this summer.
Yeah, I've been kind of following him a little bit. Wow.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna round you up with this last question, Coach. Give me your top 10 Cobras of all time. No particular order.
No particular order. Okay. Gene Davis, number one.
Now you know you can't leave somebody out. They're gonna be mad. Go ahead.
I know, but here it is. Gene Davis. Eric and Omar is 2A and 2B. I put them in the same level, even though they got two different styles. Eric is more like the general who will pat you on the butt and say, let's go. Omar is more like the general who's going to kick you in your butt and say, let's go. But those are, but they're 2A and 2B. And you can switch them up however. Next, shooting guards, you and Jamel Mayo. You and Jamel Mayo, that's why your team was so lethal. Because it had you, who was more of a slasher, yet can knock down the open jumper. But you was a jack of all trades. And then you had Jamel Mayo, who was a deadly, deadly outside shooter. So what's that, 5 guys?
Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
Oh, he was deep. He was deep. He was hitting some moonshots. But hey, and you know what? I got to throw in his brother, Stephen Mayo. Great defensive player.
Steph was nice.
Yeah. Great defensive player, but always would come back and hit that open shot and could pass. Then Jermaine Sunshine Smith. A weapon. Could do it all.
I gotta hit the horn for that one. Because I gotta let me pause you on that. Because Sunshine was like, that was one of my idols coming up. I remember coming to watch Sunshine one time in the Boys and Girls Club. And he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan that I've seen in person. He was crispy chocolate black, smooth chocolate black though. He had the hops. He had the tongue out. He would move like Mike. I was like, oh my God. Then I heard he was going to UNLV and all of this. So he gave me the vision. I remember being a kid coming and sitting and like popcorn, looking like, oh, look how he moving. But I didn't want to even cut you off for that. But I meant to mention Jermaine Sunshine and
Jermaine Sunshine Smith. Yeah. No.
Smith. Yeah, Smith.
You know, of course, Booger. That was his. And you know, the only reason they couldn't win the championship was because people would go zone against us and we couldn't shoot. Yeah. We had Booker, we had Jermaine Sunshine, we had Kevin Carter. who went to CK and now works for the NBA. And he went
Wow.
to Division One. So yeah, we had some guys. Some guys. I don't even know what number I'm at, but Maurice McMichael,
Wow.
lefty, went to Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we had some guys, Bringing up the rear, I would have to say Craig Chisholm.
10. That's about 9.
Yeah. Bringing up with Craig Chisholm because he had a jump. He was about 6'6", 6'7", but he had a jump hook. And again, he was a big guy. You put him at center.
That's crazy.
But he rebounded, he blocked shots. But my number one shooting guard, Ricky Rivers.
Ricky Rivers.
He runs the Fun Sport. He runs Ricky Rivers Fun Sport. He runs tournaments.
Okay.
He's connected with the Nets. But this guy was lights out shooter. He couldn't pass. Matter of fact, we had a Ricky rule. The Ricky rule was, I'm going to tell you the Ricky rule. The Ricky rule was, because every time he passed, he turned it over. The Ricky rule was, if Ricky touched the ball, either go get a rebound or go back on defense. Don't look for him to pass it to you. That was the Ricky Rivers rule.
That's funny.
But there was so many great kids, man. So many.
All right, Coach, I ain't gonna hold you up.
All right. Nice talking to you, Chili B. Say hello to your family.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah,
Peace
I
and
ain't gonna
blessings.
hold you up too long because I see what's going a little longer. I know you said, but we could do this all day. But I appreciate you. I just hopefully some people tuned in.
Yes.
See the live. This will go up on my YouTube because I just want to give guys like yourself your flowers while you're still living.
Thank you.
Letting you know how much I appreciate you, all that you did for myself and for the community. And hopefully others could see this and they'll be inspired by this when working with young inner city kids to see how much that could pave out,
Yes.
So
salute
to you. Thank you again for all you did, and I appreciate it.
My parting word, discipline is the foundation of success.
Got you. Discipline is the foundation of success.
Yep. Okay, Chili B, nice talking to you.
I copy those sentiments. All right, Coach, I appreciate you. Much love.
Much love. One.
All right. Peace.